Welcome to the 10 Acre Woods. My name's Mark, and I hope you are all doing well. So we are kind of locked down here on the farm, although I imagine it's not quite as bad as people living in the city. We have 10 acres of property here, good for social distancing. So I've been off work for, well, working from home, off work. People have been asking, Mark, what do you do for a living? I think I may have mentioned it in the past. I did a video actually about a year and a half ago on what I do, and I can put a link up top there and in the description. I am a certified mold and asbestos inspector. So I go around to homes, assess, take samples of asbestos, quote on their removal. We have an abatement company that, so we have crews that go out and do that. I also do mold inspections, and we do mold treatment. So I go out and I find the source of the problem and then educate the homeowner or business owner on how to resolve the issue. So I will also put a link to, I've just started a YouTube channel on that side of things as well. I've got to make a few more videos, but I'll put a link to that at the end of the video. Thanks Tim and Liz from Illinois. They asked the question, thought maybe I was a doctor. I don't know, I've been called Dr. Mark before, but hey, no, I am an inspector. I've always been in with customer service, so landscaping. I was actually a technical trainer for a pharmaceutical company for 10 years, but by trade I'm actually an electronics technician. So I've pretty much done it all. A lot of the buildings you see here, even parts of the house, Tara and I actually built ourselves. And how are you guys doing? So we have Esme here and Chinook, and then we have Carl and Billy. Hey boys, how you doing? So these are our intact males. They can be a little stinky at times and a little rambunctious. So that's why they are up front here. And then we have our two miniature donkeys here. They came in last year, and they've actually got a home that they're going to be heading off to. There's a family that's moving out from the city and have always wanted some donkeys. So they're going to be heading over there. They have been getting quite a bit better. When they first came in, they wouldn't have gotten this close. So, hey, how you guys doing? Yeah. Oh, Billy. What, you want some attention, buddy? Oh yes, always want attention. Oh, the ear. See, of course they can't get that spot, right? It's tough to get that. They use their horns to scratch back a little bit further. Hey, bud? Yes, oh yeah. So the snow out here, I think that's going to be it. Cross our fingers. Next week it's supposed to be warm. It's actually 4 degrees, so it's above zero, above freezing right now. But of course it's overcast and it's a little windy, so there's not much melting going on. But within the next 2 weeks, we should be seeing green grass and cleaning up for springtime. Now, we did have some ponies come in. So one of them is a dwarf pony named Dreamer, and the other one is a half-brother called Ollie. Now, the two of them are about 10 years old, and we got contacted from the family that had them. Their kids apparently have moved out. Same kind of story as Shadow and Willow when they came in. So the kids have moved out. They're not getting the attention they deserve. They actually did rehome the two of these, Dreamer and Ollie, but they ended up on Kijiji for sale. So they were supposed to be going to a home where they were going to be trained for therapy ponies, going into cancer care areas and old folks homes and things of that nature. But I guess things didn't work out. The guy's job went under. They had to move to BC, so they put the ponies on Kijiji, and the owners that brought them in here actually had to buy them back from them after giving them to them for free. So it wasn't the greatest experience. They wanted to make sure that the two of them were going to be at a place where they were going to have care, they were going to have visitors, and of course we're open to the public during the summer months from spring to fall, so that'll give them a good opportunity. Oh, it's so quiet in here. The guineas, I'm sure, will change that. Oh, here we go. Ollie, how you doing, buddy? Now, Ollie is apparently blind in his right eye. I'm assuming his right eye, not our right eye. So he's about 10 years old. Hi, bud, and you know, very social, very easy to get to know, right? And then we have little Dreamer. So Dreamer is a miniature, but suffers from some dwarfism going on there. So I'm not sure exactly how her health has been, but usually when you get ponies that suffer from a dwarfism or extra small, then people tend to try to get them to breed them to make smaller animals, because we as humans think, you know, the smaller the animal, the cuter the animal, but it's not best for the animal. Same kind of thing happened with Lucy. When we had Lucy, we had people asking to sell Lucy. We were offered up to $6,000 for Lucy, but of course we knew what their intent was. They wanted to breed them, and truthfully, Lucy probably would have never survived that. So we keep them on yard here. Ollie is fixed, so he is Dreamer's half brother, so he's a boy, and little Dreamer is a girl. So those are the new roommates. To all of you guys are going to be going outside within the next few weeks. They were already outside once when it warmed up for a short spell. And then now they're in lockdown. They're in not so much social distancing, but social distancing from visitors. So the farm here is currently closed to visitors. We want to isolate and help out where we can by just not going out and not interacting with people. So that's the best thing to do now, and then wait for this whole issue to blow over. Come here, Sheldon. Sheldon, come here, buddy. Hi. Oh, it's Hazel. Hi, Hazel. Oh, of course, Hazel wants some water, I guess. Come here. Come on, guys. Come out and see ya. Oh, there, Hazel's gonna check out the camera. Sheldon, you look so confused. What's wrong? Are those your new roommates? So of course, I was reading the message from Sheldon. Get your nose out of the lens. From Tim and Liz, and of course they said Sheldon and Fernando are their two favorites, which that is pretty common. George, come on over here, buddy. Come here. Now, Sheldon's going to try to be the camera goat. You know how to work that thing, buddy? The thing is, you know, you put a tripod up, and it's usually, well, the sheep as well. Goats and sheep, they try to figure it out. Figure out what it is, what the smell is. What are you doing, buddy? Hey, what are you doing? Are you a camera goat? What? Are you a camera goat? Silly boy. So Sheldon, we have Holly, Billie Jean, and little Hazel back there, and George, and Moira. So Moira is a good example of a small sheep. She is, I think she's about 5 or 6 years old, but she is a Shetland sheep, and she's a miniature breed of the Shetland sheep. So she is smaller than what you would normally expect. You can see George here, which isn't even a year old yet, is actually larger than Moira. So she's a dwarf, and same type of circumstance. The people that had her had her in a certain area. They had other sheep. They didn't want to danger her in getting her pregnant. So they contacted us, and we figured she would be a good fit. And she's socialized nicely with these guys. So she hangs out in the front pen with Sheldon and with George. And George will probably graduate into the larger area this year to be with the other sheep. Hey guys. So I'm just closing this gate here, and we have somebody that's talking to me. So in reading the comments back and forth from when we talked to the people that had these two, they said they love their treats. So I think Ollie is telling me something. Hi, Fernando. How you doing, bud? Yeah, you want to go back outside and see the visitors? Well, there's no visitors there. Look at his tail slowly going up. Oh, your roommates are awfully loud, aren't they? Oh, they want to go outside too. Fernando loves the camera. What are you guys doing? You guys, what are you guys talking about? So they're going to get out, and if you're not familiar with guinea, they are great for eating wood ticks. We haven't had wood ticks in years. Although I have had one, I shouldn't say we've never had, but it turns out I was off yard, and I actually brought the wood tick back with me. So loud. Hi, Turbo. Now, I've gone over this before, but people have asked, telling the difference between them. Turbo is a large sheep. He's the largest one here on yard. And then Tinker has these little cute little spots on her. Hi, Tink. Yes. And these two actually came in as bottle babies. We named Turbo Turbo because he was the fastest to the bottle. Hey, I don't have any treats. No treats. We have the pigs. They were out, is it just Petey? Where's your girlfriend, Piper? Well, she must be outside. All right, and we have the alpacas hanging out in here. Hey? And this is interesting. So it looks like we've got a breach. What are you girls doing? So in last video, I think it was Coco that had, Coco or Petunia, had their head through here, eating on the other side, and they seem to have broken through. So we're gonna have to move them back over. For some reason, this bottom board didn't get screwed. No, looks like it was kind of just sitting there. I guess that one got missed. All these ones were screwed in place. So this is Roxy's area. Roxy is outside. Hey, Roxy. Roxy's pregnant. She came in expecting. So we're keeping an eye on her. Hi, and this is Lambert. So Lambert's a little bit smaller and doesn't have the little spots. So Bronwyn last week had her horns trimmed. So if you haven't seen that video, it was actually a pretty easy fix. We had a wire saw, and you can see there they are well away from the sides of her neck. So it was encroaching a little bit too close. Hannibal, are you just sitting there amongst this fresh hay? And we have Tinker eating all of this stuff off of you. You're funny. Yeah, you do a good job there, Tinker. Get all that hay. Blackie. And where is Levi? Oh, look at that. I call him. Where is Levi? There he is. Great entrance, buddy. Great entrance. You snuck into the barn while I was talking to the sheep, didn't you? And Meadow. So they're all eating their fresh hay here. Hi, Meadow. How you doing, girl? Hey? Yeah. Good girl. Good girl. Oh, yeah. So we've been working with them because they have, this one's, she was born here last year, And she has been nippy over the course of the year. So basically just holding the nose if they do give a little nip, and that just kind of tells them, no, we're not doing that. She likes to pull and tug on things, and they're just like little babies where they like to try new textures out. Eh? Yeah. And Levi has been that way too. Levi, yes, I'm talking about you. Tinker, are you still cleaning that off? Hey, Levi. Hey. Yes, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. Muscovies. So somebody wanted to learn more about Muscovies, do a video on them. So that's something that maybe I'll focus on. Maybe what I'll do is come springtime, when everything's a little nicer and it's not so cold and miserable out, I'll go around and I'll do a video on ducks and chickens, and go over and do that. I've done some in the past, but I haven't really touched too much on the Muscovy. So that's something that I'll have to work in. Yes, guys, the time will come. So dirty. You would just want to get at that pond. Well, the pond, unfortunately, is still under snow and ice, and we'll wait for that to happen. We disconnected the windmill. That windmill is used to aerate the pond. It has an air line that goes down into the water. And as it rotates around, it brings up air bubbles and aerates the pond. And then, of course, lighthouse. So built a lighthouse a few years ago. Wanted to get a light out into this area since it was dark. And it's kind of nice because the animals in the evening will go way back into the back area there in the trees. And it's kind of, it is a beacon, not for ships, but for the animals, so they can see where home is. So it's set on a day-night schedule with a photocell, and we built that a couple years ago. The whole idea is along the outside of the pond area, we'd like to build some other little buildings as well, little areas that ducks can nest in along the side of the water. Hey, Marley. You're out. Hannibal, you still look like a mess. Yeah, Tinker didn't clean you up very good, did she? No, I have no apples. I have no apples. Okay. And look who we have here. It's Daisy. Hi, Daisy. How you doing, girl? Where were you hiding? I didn't even see you. Hey? Oh, you got hay on you, too. Oh. Oh, yes. So, Daisy's feet are doing very well. Can you not do that? Like, you have to be so annoying. You're cute, but you can be annoying, bud. So her feet are doing a lot better. They're still going to need some time, especially, which one is it? It's one of the back feet. That one there is still kind of crooked. But our farrier tells us that she should make a full recovery. Hey, are you looking after her? Yeah. Oh, there is Piper. Oh, Blackie. You know, they could knock you over pretty easily. They got weight. They got the weight on you, 2 to 1. Petey. Hi, Petey. Oh, look at that nose. Look at that nose. That reminds me of we had a couple pigs. They came in last week. Now, what it was is it was 2 of the 7 that came in last fall. And they came in from a place It was a petting farm, and the people who ran it, it was a lady. She was, you know, getting there in age, and she couldn't look after the animals anymore. So they had to be all kind of rehomed. So we took in the 7. We found homes for them, but then unfortunately, due to some other issues and care issues, the person that had them could not continue to take care of them. So they came back in here. We made a post about it, and we had a few other people interested in taking the pigs on. So they went out almost as fast as they came in, which is good. Moving the animals to other locations, good locations. We always make sure that they're going to good farms. They're not going for meat. We are a no-kill animal rescue and shelter. So when we find homes for them, they are pet homes. You know, I was thinking about a comment that I had earlier. I've been told that I have a slight American-ish accent. I've never lived in the US, but I guess live close enough to the US. I've watched enough US TV. Maybe it's kind of pushed off on me. I don't know. So maybe I got to get down to my roots, eh? It's about time I go in and sit on the couch and grab myself a pop. So there's my Canadian a boat. I don't know. I think it's more to the East Coast and Newfoundland because they tend to use that type of language, and that is close to New York State, which is a highly populated area. So maybe there's something going on there with the aboot. I don't know. Anyway, I am in the garden, the straw bale garden, which doesn't really look too much like a garden at this time. You may have seen it from last year if you've been watching the videos, or if you've been binge watching. Now, we didn't have a great run at it last year because we rescued a deer, and that deer came out into the garden. Most people put up these fences to keep deer out of the garden. Well, we do things a little bit differently here in the 10 Acre Woods, and we put the deer in our fenced-in garden. Now, this animal was injured. Its mother was injured on the highway and killed, and this little one here, which is a little fawn, it's just bottle feeding, was injured and couldn't even stand when he came in. So he was either hit by a car or something else traumatic. So these are hay bales. So we put them in last year, and what we did is we put some alpaca poop on it, and we put some soil on there, and Tara had planted. You can actually see the alpaca poop here. So as the snow melts and gets down into it, it's going to compost that, and it is going to turn into a great place for growing things. This area here where the snow is, that's our potato area. And surprisingly enough, we had some pretty good potatoes last year. So this year, bar any deer, fawn that is being put in our garden, we should be good to go. So we're going to go inside and show you, give you an update as to what Tara's been doing. She has been planting. She's already planted her tomatoes. And I don't know, it's kind of a little crazy, but they've been really taking off. So she's a little concerned that this snow's still around, and is she going to be able to get it into the garden in time? So we're going to head in and have a look at how she's doing there. All right, I just showed everybody your snow garden outside.
my snow garden.
Your snow garden. That's the only thing that seems to be growing out there right now.
Snow.
So what do you have here?
These are all peppers.
Okay.
So peppers, I just learned starting them in a flat. So I started my tomatoes and my peppers in a flat. And then, because some of the seeds that I had were older, I didn't know what was going to grow and what was not. So instead of wasting pots. So now, I'll take that flat, like this, and separate them into like little tiny little individual, 2 or 3 in a pot, and then put them with holes in the bottom, talking like a baby there, and then putting them in here like this.
Okay, and they're going to have their own.
And then they'll have their own little pot.
Their own little spot.
But again, I'm putting 2 or 3 into a pot. Kind of like buddy planting, I guess. So they'll be stronger and whatnot, and then they'll go over there.
So this is the area where the tomatoes and the peppers started off, and that was a couple weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
So you start them in flats like this, keep the humidity in.
And then the 2 lights in here, these are grow lights, so broad spectrum grow lights.
Yeah.
And these are, so what have you planted in here?
Oh my God, they're all labeled.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so they're various.
Anything that you have to put in 8 to 12 weeks before, but there's a couple that are growing here, so 8 to 12 weeks before last frost. So everything will get started in here, and then once it starts sprouting.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Then once it hits the lid and starts touching the lid, then we'll take it off and it'll be directly under the lights.
And we had to keep on raising these lights.
Yeah.
The tomatoes would come up, and then we'd have to raise these lights about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, and it seems like the next day they were right up in the light again.
They grow like weeds.
Yeah.
Well, have you taken them downstairs?
No, we're gonna go see the grow room.
Yeah, and we'll go over there because I'll show you putting the holes in the pots, which is much easier with. This is the redneck. Well, this is my way.
Oh yeah, multiple cups all at once. So these are all reused cups.
Yes.
So we cleaned them out from a social occasion that happened at our community club and different things. So you know, instead of just these things going in the garbage and going into landfills, we decided to reuse. Recycle, reuse.
And they'll be good for a few years as long as you don't leave them out in the sun.
Yeah.
Right out in the sun, then they'll get brittle and break. But yeah.
All right, so this is one of our previous bedrooms, and we've kind of turned it into a growing area. And we've even got it hooked up to Google Home. I used a yard light, an LED yard light. Hey Google, turn on grow light. There we go. All hooked up to our smart home. So we realized that this is not a wide spectrum bulb. It's an 80 watt, 6,000 Kelvin light. And what we may do is, I guess in the future, we could always come and put the other ones down here. We just don't have enough of the wide spectrum lights. Yeah. So these are the peppers and tomatoes?
These are all tomatoes.
Okay, all tomatoes.
I planted a lot. So each one has 2 or 3 in it. Companion planting. It'll make the plant stand stronger too if they survive. You know, they often say take out the weaker one, but they'll do that on their own. Nature doesn't mess up. But they seem to. So I potted these 2 days ago, and as long as the soil was wet, they took to it quite well, and it doesn't look like anybody wilted in the transfer.
Good.
And some have grown.
Yeah, some have grown pretty good.
So
we just have to watch the humidity. And of course, with me being in the mold business, I always want to watch humidity because if you have a grow room in your house, humidity can definitely be a big concern.
So these are the catalpa trees.
Oh, right. Yes, we
which is
did get
nice
some of
because
those.
you can see the baby leaves are starting to turn yellow.
Cigar tree.
Cigar tree, catalpa.
Yeah.
As soon as these bottom leaves start to yellow, the tree is actually growing and
Good.
so yeah, no, they've all started on their second leaves, yeah. So I'll probably tier it once I finish this.
Yeah. So we used to do fostering years ago, and now we're fostering plants,
Yeah,
I guess.
this was the Tinkerbell room.
The Tinkerbell. You can tell from the pink. And she had these leaves that came up and had a canopy. So there was one that came up here and one that came up over here. And here we put it out here. So here's the two leaves here. And now back upstairs. So this is, if you haven't seen our post on Facebook, actually I think it was on my personal page. This is the kids and their setup. So they're playing, doing some gaming, and they're doing some work. Braxton, you may not have, well, you may have seen him back in previous videos, but not very much. People have said, "You've got another child?" Says, "Yep, this is Braxton." And he's been off at university for 5 years, living in the city, computer engineering. So, and this is Braden, and he is taking agronomy. Agronomy, which is basically plants. So Braden is Braxton's boyfriend.
And my new best friend.
Yeah, helping out with the plants. And of course there's Tiana over there, playing some kind of game, I guess.
I'm playing Minecraft.
Yeah, okay, Minecraft. So there we go. So that is how we deal with being locked up, I guess you could say. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, found it useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Every thumbs up helps. And if you found it interesting and fun, you can always share it with your friends. So I hope all of you are doing well and safe in these times. Wishing you all the best, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.